Jim, just to start with Tuesday night in the Papa John's Trophy. First win in charge at Dale for you. How pleased are you with that?
Really pleased. It's important you win as soon as you can. Although we prefer to be in the league, but it's important that we get up and running, get that little bit of momentum, confidence into the players. Putting smiles on people's faces. The club over the last couple of years, coming in from as an outsider and seeing, a relegation, losing good players, an 18th finish last season, bottom of the table this season. It's been quite a bit of doom and gloom. Obviously, off-field problems, but the off-field problems seems to be behind us, and it's important that we start, winning games sooner rather than later, and as I say, putting smiles on people's faces, and that's what we did on Tuesday. It was a good workout for us. It was a good game. We should have scored more goals, but you can't always have everything that you want. Well, thankfully we got the win. We should have certainly with a penalty late on, and with the woodwork a couple of times, but there's plenty of positives in there, but the biggest positive obviously is that we won the game, so that was pleasing. We can take that momentum and confidence now into our league programme at the weekend.
And that must have, I guess, off the back of the Northampton game as well, it was good for you really to have that kind of, I know it was in obviously the cup, but I had that quick turnaround so you could put Saturday's defeat behind you.
Yeah, again, since I've been here, it's just been non-stop, because we've had coming on the Monday, we had Accrington Stanley straight away on the Tuesday, we've had Leyton Orient on a Tuesday, so it feels like the games have been, cramped in. Obviously, we missed the Saturday game where, the country was in shutdown sort of thing, but it was good off the back of Northampton. Northampton, I don't think we played particularly well, but it was a poor game, I thought, on the day. They were slightly better than us, but I think we did get on top in certain spells in the game, and we were certainly unlucky to come in 1-0 down. But, on another day, we could get back 1-1. We stayed in the game. I think we've been in every game. It just got away from us when we give the penalty away in the second half. But as you say, you want to bounce back. It gives players who hadn't played an opportunity. We've got a couple of injuries at the club at the minute. I've inherited that, which is part and parcel of the game. They can't make excuses about that. But we've picked up one or two more from Saturday's game. So there was a couple of enforced changes, but there was certainly one or two that we wanted to take a look at as well. So it was an opportunity for them to stake the claim and to get into this team on Saturday. And do all he can to get that win, which keeps us alive in the qualification for the competition, but certainly gives us that win and that momentum and confidence moving forward.
And of those players that you had a look at on Tuesday, who is now more at the front of your mind for Saturday's game at Colchester? Was there anyone who sort of stood out for you that may feature on Saturday?
Again, assessing one or two injuries that we've picked up in other areas. We're saying this morning there's a couple of issues knocking around. I think it's quite serious with regards to how many we've got. Luckily, none long term. I think most of them are, touch and go, or the ones that have been injured are coming back. But if you look at Tuesday night and players, we're building up a know-how of how all our individuals play within the squad. We're getting to know them as individuals on a personal level. We're having one-on-one meetings. We're looking at them every day in training. We're speaking to the staff that know them better than us. We're making our own minds up, myself and Chaddy, the assistant. But yeah, I think within the game on Tuesday, we're asking certain players to do a little bit more here, or change that slightly, just to try and make them better players. And I think Tyree Sinclair come out with a lot of credit on Tuesday night. He got the sponsors man of the match. He could have won a penalty. He affected the top end of the pitch. He was full of running. I've seen him today. He's a little bit tired today. It was his first 90 of the season. He hasn't played the 90 in pre-season. He's telling me as well. So that's a positive. That's his first one ticked off, to make sure that he continues to, get minutes and get himself up to speed. So I was pleased with him. And again, there's one or two others, right throughout the team. We put Jimmy Cahane at centre half alongside Sam Graham, because of the issues we have at centre half. So he gives us a little bit of food for thought. We know he can play there. I'm told that he played at Old Trafford a couple of seasons ago there. So he knows what it's all about if he's played at that level. So he come out with credit. Say right across the board there was good performances. You know, Conor Malley in the middle of the park did okay. The fullbacks did okay. So you know, it was a pleasing night for us.
You mentioned in there talking about your one-on-ones that you're having with your players and obviously getting to know them. What is it that you personally look for in a player? Obviously, I know kind of away from, I guess, on the field attributes, sort of their character, their personality. How much does that factor into your thinking?
Massive. You know, I think for players to be happy on the field, they've got to be happy off the field. So we can delve into their personal life. You know, if we've got any issues with the players that we can help them with, there's already one player at the club that we've spoke to, and you know, we're going to try and help him with regards to his location, where he's living, how he's living, etc. You know, all those things. I like to take. You know, I've done that over the years because I like to believe where, you know, I think you've got to squeeze every ounce out of every individual, and to do that, you know, it's all well and good looking at them on a match day or in training. You know what the football ability is like, but we need to get to know them, or certainly myself, on a personal level. You know, what makes them tick, what type of characters they are. You know, and I do like good characters. I like people who are sturdy. I like people who are professional. I like people who've got a good work ethic and get on with things. I don't like doom and gloom. I don't like negativity. You know, I don't like players who are going to try and pull the wool or duck out and cut corners. And as I say, to get to know how players work, you need to, you know, speak to them individually, see how they work off the field. You know, what's the personal life like. You know, I've had a chat for 20 minutes with our players today, and you know, and find out things about him, where he's from, where he's living now. You know, his partner, has he got kids? Oh, he's no kids. He's got a dog. Whatever. It's all things that build the profile of every individual that me as their manager needs to know, to make sure that I can help them in any way, or what buttons I need to push to make them tick, to get more out of them come every match day. So I think that's a massive part of any, you know, manager's job. I think you've got to take interest in the individual, not just on the field of play or the training ground. You know, away from the game, to see what you can do to help and how they tick. You know, mentally and as a character, and what their personality is like.
And what sort of manager are you then with them in the dressing room, and I guess on the training ground as well? Is it sort of, I mean, it sounds like you obviously want to get to know them closely. Is it are you an arm around the shoulder kind of guy, or are you more sort of like in their faces, or is it just dependent upon, like, when you know a player, how they respond best to criticism or positivity? Again,
it's getting a fine balance. I've learned that over the years of management. I'm not top end ranting and raver, but I have got it in my locker that when I do go, I go, and people know I've gone. Which, you know, I think there's got to be that. There's got to be that little bit of fear element, if you like. And you know, I've been complimented over the years with regards to my man management skill. You know, your personal touch. I think that's important, to be able to take interest in people. You know, I want to know about the players that are representing the club and playing for me. So if I take the time out to speak to them individually and build up that relationship off the field and away from the training, you know, that's important. And then you get to know what makes them tick, so you can help them. All the individuals, obviously the team's the most important thing. You know, that'll always be the case. Football will never change. It's a team game, but it's how you get the most out of that in any individual that plays within that team. So, as I say, don't mind an arm round, don't mind a little tickle here and there. If I need to rollock them, I'll rollock them. I like to create a good working environment. I like a happy, positive working environment. I want them to, you know, wake up of a morning and they can't wait to get in. You know, there's nothing worse. And I've spoke to players, you know, in the past that I played with, that, you know, haven't enjoyed going to a certain club, or, you know, they're a bit bored, or they're not stimulated, or whatever. We try to, you know, we give a lot of thought around what we do on a daily basis. We want the players to wake up every morning, you know, looking forward to coming in, enjoying coming in, because they know that they're going to come into a good working environment. But when we're on that training field, we expect, you know, good discipline, good work ethic, everyone to have a good go, make sure that you know, they get themselves at the top of the game. And then when they come off, again, I like a laugh like the next person, so I don't mind, you know, a few laughs and jokes and a bit of crack around the training ground, or, you know, whether having lunch or we're on the team coach or whatever. I think that goes a long way, team spirit as well. So I think it's just getting the balance right with which way to, you know, not going too far one way and not too far the other way, and getting striking a nice balance with regards to spirit and personal touch and things like that. I think that's certainly my style, what I believe in.
And do you think that helped you kind of going from straight being a player, kind of player coach into a coach at Morecambe as well, sort of that transition that you kind of got both sides of the story, if you like, straight away rather than taking a break from the game and coming back a bit later?
Yeah, 100%. It massively helped me. As you say there, it's I was the team captain at Morecambe when I was coming to the end of me days, and players will tell you who played with me. I was organised. There was the PFA delegate. I was in charge of all the fines. They organised all the nights out, the holidays away, all the fun and games for the players and the lads, which I believe in. It's important that they're not just coming in every day and seeing each other on a work day. They need to have some sort of social life at the right time, away from the game. Again, that's what builds up spirit and togetherness. But I was quite fortunate that when I was captain at Morecambe, coming to the end of my career, Sammy McElroy was my manager and Mark Lillis was the assistant. The reserve team manager was stepping aside, and they asked me to take over the reserves for 18 months. So I took that over. So I was training, I was playing, I was running the reserve side. So I got a little introduction into being setting teams up, dealing with individuals, standing on the sideline, thinking throughout the game, certain making decisions. So that was good. That gave me a good grounding, and then again, about 6 months into that, obviously come to the end of the season. So next thing they put me in. They wanted me to be in the room with them. So I was in with Sammy and Mark, in their changing room, and suddenly I was in a coach's kit with my initials on my shirt instead of my squad number, although I was still a player. So I had that transitional period over that 18 months, which I thought really did me well. So I still was respected by the players and still had a laugh and a joke when I went in their changing room, but I was still part of the coaching staff. I was like a link between two. It's strange though as a manager, because as soon as I get the manager's job, as soon as I walked in that first team room, everyone shut up and didn't want to speak to me. So again, it's important that you get, again, it's about balance, isn't it? I inherited players there that were my teammates. They were mates on the field, they were mates off the field. They found it quite difficult to stop calling me Jim and calling me Gaffer instead, or boss. But again, all transitional period. But that did me great, that 18 months, as I say, and just give me that, instead of going from one to the other, just that nice period in between where you can get to know the role and what's expected.
And moving on back onto Rochdale, obviously not been the best of starts for you in the league since you came in. What and how are you going to turn things around going forward?
Well, again, we've got a few injuries. We could do some of them back. There's key players in there. On a daily basis, we've changed one or two things which we believe in, which we think will improve us. We want to, crank up the training with regards to the tempo of the sessions, and try and get them sharper, try and get them fitter. Just trying to identify sooner rather than later the areas that we can affect in the short term. They're going to help us. Obviously, medium and long term, that's down the line. Whether that be players out and players in. At the minute, we've got what we've got, and everyone's got an opportunity to impress. So we want to see that in training on a daily basis. I think a lot of your stuff on a Saturday or Tuesday night comes from your working week, and we've seen certain things that we want to improve on. So we're implementing them at the minute. Bringing a little bit of, if I'm being perfectly honest, I think there's been a bit of doom and gloom. I think there's been, as a club, as I said before, it's had a difficult couple of years, and players feel that. Players can feed off that as well. So, as I say, it's important that we create a happy, good working environment where people are looking forward to coming in and giving their absolute all. That's the non-negotiable first and foremost, that when they do turn up to train every day, they empty the tank, and every day they go into that match, they've got to do exactly the same. So they're all things, again, there's no magic wand in football, in life. It might take longer in certain areas than other, but we have identified certain areas, whether it be around time and travel, what we do in training loads, things like that. The staff are discussing those things on on an hourly basis there, you know, before training, after training, just to see where we can get the most out of every individual. And within every individual, obviously, there's a team. So that's what we're doing, and we'll continue to do.
And Colchester on Saturday, big chance against them. I mean, you know, they're a team that haven't started the season particularly well. I think it's 4 or 5 games without a win for them in the league. So a kind of an opportunity to build on Tuesday's cup win and kind of get your league season started, really.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you look at the fixtures that I've had, obviously Carlisle away first league game, they were flying high. We got 3-1 up. Unfortunately, we couldn't win the game, but you know, we give a real good account of ourselves on the day. And then we played first and third in the league, you know, in Leyton Orient and Northampton, two teams that we fully expect to be up there. Now we're playing against a team who are in and around us, and it becomes an early season, you know, an early season 6-pointer. So it's important that we prepare right, as we always will do, and we go there believing that we can get something from the game and win that game. You know, new manager's gone, they've got a new management team in place. You know, I don't think it's the permanent managerial team, but you know, I'm sure the players will have a reaction to that. So very much like us, they'll be looking at us, we'll be looking at them, thinking it's a winnable game. So hopefully we can get the 3 points and get our league campaign up and running.